What do you think was the most misunderstood part about you?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
That I'm a slut. Well, look at the way I was dressed. You know, I mean, it was a shtick. It was we went out there and we played up the nitro and sex angle. But everybody looks at you and thinks that you're easy. Not so much. I became Jungle Pam when I met Jungle. I was in high school still. It was the last 2 weeks. And I decided to walk into town. And I was just ambling up the main thoroughfare in Westchester, and a yellow Corvette passed me, and I made a left-hand turn, and I just kept walking, and the yellow Corvette came back and pulled up to the curb, and the gentleman got out, and he stood in front of me and says, "Hi, I'm Jim." And that was my introduction to drag racing.
Drag racing is far out.
Did you have any idea where your life was going to go from that moment?
No, I was 18 years old. My life at that point had been, I was accepted to Westchester State at the time in business administration, and I was going to go to college and be one of the people who make the world go around. And instead, I hopped into Jungle's Corvette and went back to his house. Don't do this. And we went to his house, and I met Shirley Muldowney. And it was, just a whirlwind of, I got there and there were cars in the driveway. People were having a good time, and I thought, this looks like fun, more fun than I'm going to have. So that's my introduction to drag racing.
Do you ever regret that day that walking down the street, getting in the Corvette?
No. No. Take a chance in life. I mean, it's not like somebody held a gun to my head. You could have backed out at any time. If you don't take a chance, you just never know. And then you regret it for the rest of your life because you didn't take the chance.
Were you so much more than just a pretty face that went out there and backed the car up? I mean, did you do a lot on the car between?
Ass, gas, or grass. Nobody rides for free. If you couldn't at least, change water, oil, pack a parachute, I mean, there's no reason for you to be around. So I did. I mean, I knew what the tools were and how to do things. I mean, I didn't tune the engine or anything, but I could be helpful around the car.
Did you learn anything about tuning?
I can't say that I did on a technical level. I knew, generally, when I first started drag racing, people could have been speaking Swahili for all I know. I didn't know the first thing about the lingo of drag racing. By the time I got out, I knew what people were aiming for and what they were, when they spoke about how they were setting up an engine, I knew what they were going for. So in today's world, yes, when people talk about tuning their engines, I know what they're going for.
I always saw you getting down on the ground, looking under the car and everything.
There's a reason for that.
Was that for show? Or?
No. You know, you didn't run all the buttoned-up cars that you do today. You didn't have the diapers and the doodads and the gewgaws. Back then, you could have liquid leaking out of any place. Again, we're match racing. So I would go and bend down there, and I could see if there was water or nitro or oil leaking. And then he'd back up, and I would dip my fingers into it. You know, if it wasn't obviously oil, I'd put it to my mouth, and it would be nitro or water. And I would get off to the side there, and I'd tell Jungle that it was oil or water. And that's how he knew how to run. Maybe he would run differently. Maybe he would abort a run. Yes, I get one tit in there. But that's what I was wearing when that picture was taken, with all of us in front of the car.
I want to pick her in.
Yes, this will fit. I wore this in American Nitro. It's true, it did. This was just a job. This, yes, no other female was doing this, with the exception of Cheryl Greer's lady. And she would work on the clutch and do this. I did this in a more flamboyant way, and Jungle just had it in his mind that this was the way that this should be, and it stuck. It garnered a lot of press.
What was it like for you the first time you saw your first picture in a drag racing magazine?
Oh.
And how did you react to that?
I'm trying to think what the first one was, but I do remember the photo shoot for Hot Rod magazine cover. And that was done in the winter of '72 in North Hollywood, California. And it came out on the February '73 issue. And I didn't really think much about it until we were in an airport and somebody came up to me and asked me to sign it. I never thought about it until then. It's just a job.
What did your family think of this?
My father had died many years ago. My mother, yeah, not so much. Didn't like it.
Did it cause a split between you two, or?
Sort of, but she made the best of it. To her credit, she went with it. It was like, you know, either go along and keep touch or back off. And she didn't like it, but it's better than nothing.
Was there a part of you that felt like a rock star when you guys would go on the road?
Nope, we were never rock stars. We were just having fun amongst ourselves. I mean, me personally, no. Again, this was barnstorm drag racing. There was no hype. There was none of this NHRA BS, you know, where you're trying to make somebody into something that they're not. This was a match race from Budds Creek, Maryland to New England Dragway to Cayuga, Canada. What's so glamorous about spending 3 days in a truck trying to get someplace and, you know, race just for your wages? There's nothing glamorous about it at all.
Do you ever regret not becoming a race car driver?
Not so much, because in the 70s, race cars blew up. You didn't have the safety features in place in the 70s, and you were running, this was barnstorm drag racing. You didn't have a sanctioning body that told you how to run a car or, you know, what you had to do to make things safe. You ran according to your budget. So you had leakers and you had hitters and you had everybody in between, and I saw it all. I saw every crash and flip and burn, and it was unpredictable. Jungle ran his car very conservatively because he knew what he had to do to make the next race. He ran, I think, very well considering that he had a pretty strict budget.
One might get the idea you were kind of happy-go-lucky out there, but when a driver got hurt real bad or got killed, how did that affect you?
I must admit, I never really saw anybody get really badly hurt. In fact, the most hurt I think I saw anybody get, I mean, that I witnessed, was Gene Snow hydraulicking his engine in the pits at Orange County. Almost cut his foot off. The piston came right out, the rod came right out, and just about took his foot off. Pretty much people bounce back. I mean, you might have been singed here and there, but you know, it wasn't until after I had left, you know, Jungle and the drag racing scene that I saw a Dodger get killed.
I guess back in those days you wasn't really hurt unless the bone was sticking out, right?
Pretty much. You know, just pour nitro on it and put some duct tape on it and you were good to go.
What is the wildest thing that ever happened to you at a drag strip that you wondered, how in the world did we get into this and how in the world are we going to get out of it?
Oh, I've been on fire twice. I was on fire once when a fuel tank blew up at Englishtown. And I was on fire in Martin, Michigan when he turned over the engine and didn't take the mag wire off, and I was underneath the body. So I considered like maybe this could have been less, you know, like why am I doing this? But you just take it in stride. I should have been maybe bagging groceries at this point, but you know, I didn't need those eyebrows. No, it was kind of, once you regained your composure, it was fun to talk about, because I remember after Martin, Michigan, I was walking through the pits and I walked up to my colleague and he says, "You stink." I said, "Oh, my hair was burned off and everything." Like, "Yeah, you smell like burned hair."
It's the match race of the decade, the Beauty and the Beast. Sunday afternoon at Raceway Park, Englishtown, New Jersey. Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney will take on Jungle Jim Liberman in wild, ground-shaking funny car competition. You've got to see this one. Jungle Jim Liberman versus Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney. Can the Beauty beat the Beast?
You know, drag match racing and today's drag racing aren't the same. You just really can't compare them. You had, back in the day, 3 sanctioning bodies who would book various cars to match race, whereas today you have one sanctioning body that wants to collect everybody and control them. So, if you want to race, you're going to do what they say. Back in the day, you could do whatever your heart desired.
Did it sometimes bother you that you were more of a match race team than a national event?
No, Jungle didn't want to be a national. Jungle hated NHRA. He told me, and I've held it through the 40 years, do not trust NHRA. They're only using you. Match racing was our bread and butter. You raced your 3 rounds, you got your money, you went on your way. None of that NHRA BS.
But could the same be said for any of the other sanctioning bodies?
Who else you have out there? IHRA?
And AHRA.
Oh, is AHRA running now?
No, not now. But
No, they all did. I mean, no matter who you ran with back in the day, you ran your 3 runs, you got your money, you're gone. No question about it. Today,
what was it like being on the road match racing?
what a tough life. People think it was romantic. You talk to people now, oh, the 70s must have been romantic being on the road all the time. Yeah, how romantic is it bathing out of a nasty old gas station sink and eating at Howard Johnson's? Really? Not so much.
So how did Jungle sell you on this idea?
I was 18, are you kidding? You could sell an 18-year-old anything.
Were the fans reasonably decent with you, or were they really out of line?
For the most part, fans are very respectful. You will always find, in any population, you will always find rogue types, but I would say 90% of Jungle's fans are very respectful. Those who hide behind a keyboard on the internet, maybe not so much, but generally we have very respectful, loving fans.
What about back in the day when you were scantily clad backing up a race car?
Generally very nice, but I do remember being in Ohio once, and we were up at the line, and there was a crowd behind the car. They allowed people to go behind the car, although they were partitioned off, and there was a group of gentlemen who were getting out of hand, and Jungle was suiting up, and he stopped suiting up and turned around and just looked at them and shut them down just with his look.
Did you ever have a problem with females saying, look, you're setting women back here with this kind of provocative behavior?
I've never encountered females in drag racing saying I set them back. They want to, well, that sounds a little big-headed of me, but they want to be me. Females have made their own road. Look at Shirley. Look at Paula Murphy. Look at Shirley Shahan. Look at, I mean, it's not that you could be whatever you want to be in drag racing. Nowadays, drag racing just squashes everybody because if you don't have major sponsorship dealers, behind you, they won't let you in.
How does it make you feel to know that in 5 years you developed such a reputation of love and admiration from drag racing fans that here we are, 30, 40 years later, and you're still on everybody's
When
mind?
I go to, like the few times I've been to the California Hot Rod Reunion, or now the defunct New England Reunion, or Bowling Green, the fans are very, they're wide, deep, and continuous, as Grump would say. I appreciate them all. I listen to them all. They all have a unique take on our life. They all have a story to tell. I will listen to each and every one, and I value each and every one. I'm flattered that they take the time to stop by. They make my day.
Jungle Pam were the queen of drag racing, which you are.
Yeah, sure.
You're the queen of drag racing, or the ruler of drag racing. Tell me, what would you do with today's drag racing that would make it far out?
How about let's inject some entertainment in there? Let's take the corporate stick out of somebody's ass and, let's lower the prices to get in and get more entertainment involved. It's just too PC. Too PC.
Do you think that the era that you guys ran in, do you think that could ever really be reproduced ever again?
Absolutely not. No, it was too free. The 70s had no cell phones, no internet, you could do anything. The reason that we're legends is because you really can't authenticate anything that happened. It's word of mouth. Oh yeah, we got great stories to tell. You got a cell phone picture of that? Is it on the internet? No. You're going to have to take my word for it that something really spectacular happened, or you would have had to have your butt up in the stands to watch it happen.
Why didn't you ever write a book?
Nah. I don't think I have that much to say, actually. I'd have to draw in a whole lot of people in order to make a book interesting.
I think one of the most intriguing comments I ever heard was attributed to you. And I was watching, you had Mike Dunn on there and Dave Reef, and you described drag racing as sensual.
Drag racing is sensual. Oh yes, if you're a spectator and you feel that, especially today with the 8,000 horsepower cars, it's very sensual. It's ground pounding, it just moves you to your core. I can see why people like it, sure.
When Jungle passed, how tough was that on you?
Oh, it was devastating. It was devastating. It was a great loss. It was a great loss for drag racing. He was brilliant. He may have been a free spirit in the way he conducted his life, but he was a brilliant mechanic. Brilliant.
Austin Cole believes that he would have been one of the leading tuners had he have ever
Indeed.
driven.
Indeed. Jungle had talked about he was getting tired of driving a car and he wanted to build race engines. And I think he would have been very successful. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that day that you got the news?
Oh, sure. Who wouldn't? It was, my mother called me and told me because she didn't want me to hear it on the news. And actually, you could just about see where he met his demise if you look out here, out this window. Mm-hmm. We're very close. Still tough for you to talk about all these years later? Well, it is what it is. It's sad. It's sad because it's a waste of life. It's a waste of talent. And he was loved. How do you deal with the rumors that float around regarding his death? What rumors that? That he killed himself over me, or what? Well, I mean, it's not what like a bunch of BS. Jungle and I. Jungle, again, he was a free spirit. He loved women. He and I didn't see eye to eye, so I left. Not a big deal. Like in everybody's day. I mean, people leave people every day. You don't see them driving under the bus because of that. It's just a tragic accident.
Austin, but if you could say anything to Jungle today, what would you say?
I wish you were here to see what you would have become. Your talent was wasted. Truly.
Do you still cry thinking about the memories?
So I'm bringing up a tear now. It's such a waste of talent. Just a waste of talent. Oh God, I haven't touched this in years. For you, I do this.
I bet that's got to feel weird.
That is a lock of Jungle's hair. Right Mary cut Jungle's hair. Right Mary was with Joe City at the time. And I picked up a lock of Jungle's hair, and I have it to this day. And I treasure it. Jungle and I had separated, but he sent me this card, and
What does it say?
it says, good luck with this, standing in, actually I can't read it, thing in store in, wow, this is how Jungle wrote, yeah, and racing together brought a warm spot. The cable car runs in front of this place. Love always Jungle. P.S. Lots of people ask about you. Oh. Oh. Sad. Oh, that's Jungle. Miss him. I miss him. Been able to keep Jungle's name alive? I mean, I don't really care about myself. I mean, I'm happy just being me. But Jungle worked hard for who he was. And I kind of resent people trying to be him. And I just like being able to keep his name alive.
Has any nostalgia funny car racer out there earned the right to run the Jungle Jim tribute?
No. Dead? No. No.
So I'm assuming that bothers you to see those cars out there.
I'm not thrilled. You would think that people would want to make a name for themselves instead of running, you know, instead of everybody running around being Elvis. You'd want to make a name for yourself. I probably shouldn't say this. You know where I'm going, Bill. There's something that I call the Jungle curse. And if you go out there and you put his name on the side of your car, it's not going to bode well for you. And it has proven true pretty much all the time. I'm talking about knockoff cars, not original cars, not the, you know, the 69 Novas or the, actually nobody's running the real cars except for the Novas. You go back and look at the history of people who try to be Jungle, and it does not work out. we put on a good show. Jungle and I put on a good show, and that's what it was all about. It's not all about me. When you're out there doing what we were doing, it wasn't about me. It was about us. And remember us. We put on a good show.
Could you have ever worked with any other driver?
No, it wouldn't have worked. No, it was just a flash in the pan. It was just a bolt of lightning. It just worked. You see many ladies out there today backing up cars. Do you see any of it sticking? It's nice. It's visual. It's entertainment, and that's what we need. But Jungle and I had a sort of a symbiotic type of relationship where he did those wonderful burnouts and maybe a strange backup, and I was out there. I mean, you'll never find anybody dressed like I was now, which is really risque now. And it was just, it's a one-off.